Sarah, you're the one in insurance. Amy's voice echoed across the private dining room. You need to figure something out for Mom's surgery bills. We were at a family gathering with over a dozen of my husband's relatives. The topic of conversation was my mother-in-law, who had fallen while hiking and was now facing surgery for a fractured femur. It's family. Isn't that what you're supposed to do? It's your duty as a daughter-in-law, Amy pressed on. The relatives around the table nodded in agreement. I sat there, surrounded by my in-laws, feeling like a defendant in a courtroom. Sarah, you have to help out. Your mother is in pain, my father-in-law said, his tone firm. You work in insurance. There must be a way. I bit my lip, a bitter memory flooding my mind. Just 2 weeks ago, when my own mother needed surgery, I had told my husband, Mom needs $5,000 for the surgery. I'll take care of it. His response still stung. Your mother is not our responsibility, Sarah. I don't see why our money should be spent on her. His cold voice replayed in my ears. I remained silent, just listening. Sarah, why are you just sitting there? Say something. Amy, growing impatient, grabbed my arm. Slowly, I pulled my arm away. I reached into my purse, took out my phone, and placed it on the center of the table. The room fell silent. Everyone watched as my finger hovered over the screen, then tapped the play button. They had no idea how long I had been waiting for this moment. My name is Sarah. I'm 36 years old, and I've been an insurance agent for over 10 years. Some people look down on my profession or keep their distance, but I've always been proud of what I do, designing the perfect coverage for my clients, and later hearing them say, Sarah, you saved us from a disaster, gave me a deep sense of satisfaction. But on that day, I realized I had failed to protect the most important person in my life. We were in the waiting room of an orthopedic specialist's office. I sat beside my mom, waiting for her name to be called. For months, she had been complaining about back pain. At first, she dismissed it as a part of getting older, saying a heating pad would fix it. But soon, even walking became a struggle for her. Are you okay, Mom? I'm fine, sweetie. Just a little stiff. That was always her way. She would never admit she was in pain in front of her children. I had to book the appointment myself and practically drag her here. When she came out of the examination room, her face was grim. The doctor pulled me aside. The spinal stenosis is quite advanced, he explained. There's significant pressure on her nerves. I recommend surgery as soon as possible. Surgery? Yes. If we wait any longer, she could risk paralysis from the waist down. My heart sank. I couldn't imagine how much pain my mother had been enduring in silence. My vision blurred, with tears. On the drive home, I held her hand tightly. Mom, you have to get the surgery. I'll figure everything out. No, it's okay. I can manage with medication. Mom, he said you could be paralyzed. Please, let's just do the surgery. She was silent for a long time before asking in a small voice, Sarah, how much will it cost? In that moment, one thing came to mind, her insurance policy. The very one I had designed for her 7 years ago. My mom was my very first client when I started my career. Don't worry, Mom. You have that policy I set up for you. It should cover everything. As soon as we got home, I rushed to the filing cabinet and pulled out her insurance documents. My hands trembled as I opened the folder and scanned the list of riders and special provisions. My heart stopped. There was no specific rider for spinal-related conditions. How could this be? I read through the policy again, from start to finish. It had comprehensive coverage for cancer, heart attacks, and strokes, all things I had included considering her family history. But her spine, she had been so healthy back then, always hiking and active. I had only included the basic coverage, thinking it was enough. The document slipped from my grasp. It was my fault, completely and utterly my mistake. To think I had been so careless with my own mother's policy, I collapsed onto the floor, overwhelmed with guilt. That night, I didn't sleep a wink. The doctor had said our out-of-pocket cost would be around $5,000. Her basic health insurance wouldn't be enough without the surgical rider. $5,000. It was a lot of money, but the amount wasn't the real problem. It was the crushing fact that I, the expert, had failed to protect my own mother. I spent the early hours of the morning checking my bank accounts. Thankfully, I had been setting aside my commission bonuses in a separate account, one my husband, Kevin, didn't know about. Ever since we got married, it had been difficult to spend my own money freely. My mother-in-law constantly preached that a couple's finances should be completely transparent, which meant she often scrutinized our bank statements. But she and Kevin had no idea about my bonus account. I had just enough in there to cover the $5,000. I have to take responsibility for this. It was my mistake. Having a plan made me feel like I could breathe again. The only problem left was how to tell Kevin. My husband was a manager at a mid-sized tech company. He made a decent living, but it was less than what I brought in. I always felt that bruised his ego. Just because you make more money doesn't mean you can spend it however you want, Sarah, he'd often say. We're a family. He called my salary and bonuses our money, yet when it came to any major expenses, the burden always seemed to fall on me. After a few days of agonizing, I gathered my courage. It was a Friday evening, just after Kevin got home from work. I approached him carefully. "Honey, can we talk?" What is it?" he replied, slumping onto the sofa and turning on the TV. I sat down next to him. "I took Mom to the doctor today. It's spinal stenosis. She needs surgery." "Oh, really? Is it serious?" "Yeah, it's pretty advanced. The doctor said she could risk paralysis if we don't act fast." His expression hardened slightly. "So, what about the cost?" "Well, the out-of-pocket is going to be about $5,000. $5,000? Doesn't she have insurance?" I knew this question was coming. I took a deep breath. She does. The policy I designed for her. But back then, I didn't add the spinal surgery rider. She was so healthy. I only put in the basics. It was my mistake. Kevin's face changed. "My mistake," I repeated. "I'm sorry. I didn't double-check it properly." "So, I was thinking, I can use the bonus money I've been saving. I have enough to cover the $5,000. "Hold on." Kevin cut me off, his voice turning cold. "With my bonus. Isn't that our money?" "Kevin, please. It was my mistake, so I want to be the one to fix it. She's my mom, Sarah." He turned off the TV and looked directly at me. His voice was firm and unyielding. "Your mother is not our responsibility." For a second, I couldn't believe what I had just heard. "What did you just say?" I said, "Supporting your mother is not my responsibility. Whether it was your mistake or not, you're not using our money to fix it. That's your family's problem, not this family's problem." His voice grew louder with each word. I was frozen in place. "Honey, what are you?" "Get a grip, Sarah. We have to save for a house. For kids. We have our own life to build. How can you just throw away $5,000 on your family? It's not the first time, either. You spent $2,000 on your mom's birthday last year. That was. And you should tell your mother you screwed up her insurance. If it's your mistake, you figure out how to solve it. But you are not touching our money." I was speechless. He turned the TV back on. The conversation was over. Later that night, I locked myself in the bathroom and cried for a long time, sitting on the closed toilet lid so he wouldn't hear me. "Your mother is not our responsibility," the words echoed in my head. We had been married for 8 years. For 8 years, I had contributed to every single one of his family's major events. $3,000 for my mother-in-law's 70th birthday party, $2,000 for my father-in-law's 60th, $1,000 for my sister-in-law Amy's baby's first birthday. No one ever said, "This isn't our responsibility then." But my mother. Suddenly, she wasn't their responsibility. The following Monday morning, as I was getting ready for work, Kevin's phone rang. It was his mother. He took the call in the living room. A few minutes later, he called out to me. "Sarah, it's for you. It's Mom." He handed me the phone. I had a bad feeling. "Hello, Mom. It's Sarah." "Yes, Sarah. I heard from Kevin. Your mother is having surgery." So he had told her. I composed myself and replied, "Yes, she has spinal stenosis. But listen," her voice turned sharp and cold. "Are you planning to pay for it with money from this household?" "Mom, it's not like that. Sarah, once you're married, you need to draw a line with your family. Do you have any idea how much Kevin has struggled since you two got married? And now we have to take responsibility for your mother's medical bills? The phone felt heavy in my hand. Mom, I was going to use my bonus. Your bonus is this family's money too. Let me be frank, Sarah. How much money have you given to your family since you got married? 2,000 last year, and who knows what else before that. Where do you think that money came from? From Kevin's salary? No, it was my money. Money I earned with my own 2 feet. And another thing, Sarah. Maybe that's why you can't get pregnant. You're too busy worrying about your own family. You've been married for years. Don't you ever feel ashamed in front of your husband's family? Her words felt like a punch to the gut. I felt tears welling up, but I held them back. I had to. I'm sorry, Mom. Good. As long as you understand. Let your family handle it this time. This isn't something we can help with. The call ended. I stood there, phone in hand. Kevin was in the living room, watching the news, completely unfazed. Her words, maybe that's why you can't get pregnant, sliced through me. I couldn't focus at work that day. During my lunch break, I saw a new message in our family group chat. It was from my sister-in-law, Amy. Sarah, I heard from Kevin. I know you must be worried about your mom's surgery bills, but honestly, from the in-laws' perspective, it's a little much. It feels like you only ever care about your own family. Below the message, I could see likes popping up from various aunts and uncles. I closed the app and put my phone back in my bag. I went to the restroom and stared at my reflection. I didn't recognize the tired, defeated woman looking back at me. When had I become so small? I was an insurance agent who had worked for a decade. To my clients, I was the dependable Sarah. But at home, I was nothing. My opinions were ignored. My money was our money, and my mother was a stranger. After work, I stopped by my parents' house. Mom was lying on the living room sofa. When she saw me, she tried to sit up, a painful smile on her face. Mom, it's okay. Stay down. Sarah, honey, have you eaten? Yes. I ate at work. You? I ate too. But Sarah, she began cautiously. I don't think I need the surgery. I can just live with it, take my medication. Mom, what are you talking about? The doctor said you have to. No, it's fine. I'm fine, really. The moment I looked into her eyes, I knew. She knew I was getting grief from my in-laws. Mom, Sarah, I'm okay. Your life with the in-laws is hard enough. I don't want to be a burden. Tears streamed down my face. Mom, you're not a burden. Don't you ever say that. Sarah, my mom took my hand. It felt rough and worn. It was the hand of a woman who had worked her entire life to raise me. You're having the surgery, Mom. I'll take care of everything. On the drive home, I made a decision. No matter what Kevin or his mother said, I was going to take responsibility. It was my mistake, and she was my mother. Kevin came home late that night, saying he'd been at a work dinner. While he was in the shower, I glanced at his phone. A notification from Amy had popped up. The preview was visible. Kev, can you send me some money this month? The kids' tuition is due. My hand froze. Send me some money? Kevin came out of the shower. I put the phone down, acting as if I hadn't seen a thing. Sarah, we have to go to my mom's place tomorrow, he said. Why? Did she call a family meeting? Yeah. She wants everyone there. Another family meeting. Here we go again. I just nodded. The next day, a Sunday, we went to my in-laws' house. Amy and her family were already there. We all gathered in the living room. My mother-in-law spoke first. Now that everyone's here. Sarah, what's happening with your mother's situation? All eyes turned to me. I'm still looking into it. What is there to look into? Just forget about using our money. You understand? Yes, Mom. And another thing, she said, looking over at Amy. Amy's having a tough time with the kids' private school tuition. Sarah, you just got your bonus, didn't you? You can help out your niece and nephew, right? I couldn't believe my ears. Excuse me? We're family. We have to help each other out. Amy's been struggling financially lately. You love your niece and nephew, don't you? Amy smiled at me. A smile so smug and vicious, it made my stomach turn. I'm sorry to ask, Sarah, but Kevin said he'd pay me back later. Pay me back? When? I said nothing. Kevin sat next to me, staring at the floor. In the car on the way home, I finally asked him, "Kevin, have you been sending money to Amy?" "What? How much?" "Well, it was just a few times." "How much did you send?" He kept his eyes on the road. "About $2,000. $2,000? From my bonus?" Starting last year, Amy was having a hard time. My mind went blank. "So you took my bonus and sent it to your sister? Without even talking to me about it?" "Sarah, I'm sorry, but she's family." "Family? Is my mother not family?" "You said her surgery wasn't our responsibility, but your sister's kid's tuition is our responsibility." He had no answer. I turned to look out the window, trying to stop the tears from falling. We didn't say a word to each other when we got home. I went into the spare bedroom and locked the door. I opened my laptop and checked my accounts again. My bonus account, the one I thought he didn't know about. Just in case, I checked the transfer history. My eyes widened in disbelief. There were records of transfers from my account to Amy's. $300 every month for the last 6 months. Kevin knew about my bonus account. He had figured out the password and had been secretly siphoning money to his sister. I sank to the floor, completely broken. A few days passed. I went to work, came home, and repeated the cycle. Kevin and I barely spoke. He would mumble "I'm sorry" every morning, but I never replied. On Wednesday evening, I stopped by my mom's. She was in the kitchen, preparing dinner, even though her back must have been killing her. "Mom, I'll do it. Please, sit down. It's okay. You worked hard all day." We ate dinner together. The whole time, my mother just stared at my face. "Sarah, is something wrong?" "No, I'm fine." "I can tell you're not." "Did something happen with your in-laws?" I put down my fork. I couldn't hold it in anymore. "Mom," and I told her everything. About Kevin saying her health wasn't their responsibility. About my mother-in-law telling me to cut ties with my family. About the secret transfers from my bonus account to Amy. My mom listened without saying a word. When I finished, she spoke softly. "Sarah, I'm not going to have the surgery. I'm okay. At my age, what's one surgery? I can live like this." She smiled, but it was the saddest smile I had ever seen. "Mom, don't say that. You have to have the surgery. I will take care of it. Sarah, your life is hard enough as it is. I don't want to add to it. I'm fine." "I'm not fine, Mom," I sobbed. "You being in pain is the one thing that's not fine." Just then, the front door opened. It was my older brother, Michael. "Oh, Sarah, you're here." He took one look at me and knew I'd been crying. "What's wrong? Why are you crying?" I just shook my head, but my mom explained the situation to him. Michael's face grew dark. He said, "What?" he roared. "It's not his responsibility." "Then what about his own mother? Is she not his responsibility either?" He paced the room, furious. I had never seen him this angry. He stopped and looked at me. "Sarah, you're moving out. Get out of that house right now." "Michael, it's okay." "What's okay about it? That guy is insane." Saying supporting his mother-in-law isn't his problem. He took a deep breath. "Sarah, I'll pay for Mom's surgery." "No, Michael, you can't. She's our mother." "Of course I can. If that's how he wants to play it, then we'll handle it ourselves. I'll pay for it, so don't you worry." "But Michael, you have your own kids to raise. Your own expenses." "Hey, my little sister has been suffering all this time. What kind of big brother would I be if I couldn't even help with this? And don't be too hard on that husband of yours. He's always been a selfish jerk." He ruffled my hair. At that moment, the dam broke and I started crying again. "Thank you, Michael. It's okay. Schedule the surgery and let me know. I'll take care of everything." "And Sarah," he said, his tone suddenly serious, "make sure you have proof of everything. The money he sent to his sister, all of it. You'll need it later." "Why?" "Just trust me. Get the evidence." That night, I went home and took screenshots of my bank statements, all the records of transfers to Amy's account. I also decided to start recording my conversations with Kevin. I didn't know why, but like Michael said, it felt like I might need it later. A few days later, Mom's surgery was scheduled for the following Tuesday. Michael had already paid the hospital the $5,000 deposit. I told Kevin. Mom's surgery is next week. Michael paid for it all. Okay, was all he said. No apology, no words of concern for my mother's health. The night before the surgery, I stayed with my mom at the hospital. Are you sleeping? She whispered in the dark. No, I'm awake. Why? I'm sorry, sweetie. Sorry for what? For all the trouble you're going through because of me. Your in-laws. Mom, don't say that. You're not a burden. You're my everything. She squeezed my hand, and I squeezed back. The surgery was a success. The doctor came out and told us the operation went very well. There's no nerve damage, and with some physical therapy, she should be able to resume her normal life. I sank to the floor and wept with relief. Michael patted my shoulder. It's okay. Let it all out. You've been through so much. I sent a text to Kevin. Mom's surgery went well. His reply came a minute later. That's good. That was it. In that moment, I knew. I was completely alone in this marriage. I had no one on my side, and I realized something else. It was never about the money. It was about respect. Kevin, my in-laws, they never respected me, my mother, or my family. They just wanted my money. When my mom was moved from recovery, I held her hand. I love you, Mom. I love you too, my daughter. And I made a decision. I would not let them walk all over me anymore. The people I needed to protect were my mother and myself. Michael was at the end of the hall, on the phone. I walked over to him. Michael, you told me to gather evidence. Yeah. Did you get it? I have it all. Bank records, recordings, everything. He smiled. Good. Hold on to it. The time will come. When? When they ask you to do the exact same thing for them. I didn't understand what he meant then, but I would, in less than 2 weeks. 2 weeks after my mom's surgery, she was discharged and recovering at home with physical therapy. I visited her whenever I could. It was a Saturday afternoon, and we were watching TV in the living room. Her walking had improved dramatically. Look, Sarah, I can walk by myself now. It's all thanks to you. Of course, Mom. Just don't get sick again. Just then, my phone rang. It was Kevin. Sarah, where are you? At my mom's. Why? Get to the hospital right now. Mom collapsed. My heart stopped. What? Your mom's in the ER. Hurry. I quickly explained to my mom and rushed to the hospital. Kevin and Amy were standing outside the emergency room, their faces pale. What happened? Mom fell when she was out hiking. It's a femoral fracture, Amy said, her voice choked with tears. Sarah, what are we going to do? I went inside. My mother-in-law was lying on a gurney, her face ashen. Mom, are you okay? She glared at me. Do I look okay? I'm in agony. What took you so long? I'm sorry, I was at my parents'. Your parents? Always your parents. Even when your mother-in-law is in the emergency room. I said nothing. The doctor came out. Are you the patient's family? Kevin stepped forward. Yes, that's us. She has a complete fracture of the femur. She needs surgery. We should do it tomorrow, or the day after at the latest. Surgery. How much will it cost? The total procedure is around $10,000. Depending on your insurance, the out-of-pocket will likely be between $3,000 and $5,000. $10,000. An out-of-pocket of $5,000. Kevin's face went white. So did Amy's. Kevin, where are we going to get that kind of money? Amy panicked. Do we have to break into our savings? What savings? My mother-in-law cried out from her bed. That's for the house. Sarah, you work in insurance. Do something. I stood there, watching them. The same people who, just 2 weeks ago, had treated my mother's crisis with such cold disdain. Kevin, who had yelled that my mother was not his responsibility. My mother-in-law, who had told me to cut ties with my family. Amy, who had shamed me in a group chat for caring about my own mother. Now, all of them were looking at me, expecting me to produce the money to solve their problem. Sarah, why are you just standing there? Amy grabbed my arm. Do something about the hospital bill. I pulled my arm away. Why should I? What? What did you say? Why should I be the one to pay for your mother's hospital bills? The hallway fell silent. Kevin and Amy stared at me, dumbfounded. Sarah, what are you talking about? Kevin stammered, stepping towards me. What did you tell me when my mom needed surgery? You said, your mother is not our responsibility, didn't you? That was, well, then, your mother is not my responsibility either. Amy jumped in. Sarah, are you kidding? Our mother is in pain. So was my mother. She had spinal stenosis and could have been paralyzed. And what did your mother tell me then? She told me to cut ties with my family. That's different. I looked Kevin straight in the eye. You all figure it out. I'm not paying a single cent. I turned and walked away. Sarah, are you really going to do this? Amy screamed from behind me. We're family. I stopped, but didn't turn around. Family? My mother wasn't your family, was she? I walked out of the emergency room. The cool night air hit me, but I felt like I couldn't breathe. I sat on a bench outside the hospital and cried. Not out of anger or even relief. I was just sad that my marriage had crumbled into this. My phone started ringing. It was Kevin. I didn't answer. It rang again and again. Amy called. My mother-in-law's number flashed on the screen. I ignored them all and went home. Kevin was already there when I arrived. Sarah, he rushed towards me. Sarah, please, help us with Mom's surgery bill. We have no other way. Whatever you do is none of my business. Sarah, we're family. Family? I laughed, a bitter, hollow sound. What has this family ever done for me? You told me my mother wasn't your responsibility, while you secretly sent my bonus money to your sister. Is that what family is? I'm sorry. I was wrong. But this is an emergency. It's an emergency, so you come crawling to me. You're all the same, your whole family. He dropped to his knees. Sarah, please. Just this once. Please help us. I'll pay you back every penny. I looked down at him. He was pathetic, but I felt no pity. No, you figure it out. I went into the bedroom and locked the door. All night, he knocked. My phone buzzed with dozens of texts from Amy. Sarah, please help us. Mom is in so much pain. I promise we'll pay you back. Please. I never knew you could be this cold-hearted. I read them and deleted them. The next morning, Kevin didn't go to work. He was at the hospital. I went to my office. My phone rang all day, but I didn't answer. During lunch, Michael called. Sarah, what's going on with your in-laws? How did you know? Your husband called me, asked to borrow money. I sighed and explained the situation. After listening, Michael said, Sarah, you did the right thing. You absolutely should not help them. Not after what they did to you. But listen, get ready. For what? They're going to call a family meeting. They'll try to pressure you. That's when you use all the evidence you've collected. Don't worry, I'll be there for you. This time, you're going to win. After we hung up, a text from Kevin came through. Sarah, there's a family meeting tomorrow night. You have to be there. We need to discuss Mom's surgery. The moment I had been waiting for had finally arrived. I went home and reviewed all my evidence. The transfer records, the audio files, the chat screenshots. Everything was ready. Tomorrow, it would all be over. Or rather, a new chapter of my life would begin. I couldn't sleep that night. The thought of the family meeting replayed in my mind. Around 2 a.m., I got up and went to my desk. I took out a small USB drive from a drawer. All the evidence was on it. First, the audio file of Kevin's voice. Your mother is not our responsibility. Whether it was your mistake or not, you're not using our money to fix it. That's your family's problem, not this family's problem. His voice was crystal clear. Second, the bank statements. A total of $1,800 transferred from my bonus account to Amy's over 6 months, plus the other $2,000 he had admitted to sending. Third, the group chat screenshots. Amy's message. It feels like you only ever care about your own family. And my mother-in-law's words. Once you're married, you need to draw a line with your family. And below them, all the likes from the relatives. The evidence was overwhelming. I put the phone down and looked out the window. The sky was dark, but I knew the sun would rise soon. For my life, too. The next evening, I went to a local restaurant near my in-laws' house. They had booked a private room. When I opened the door, about 20 relatives were gathered inside Kevin. His parents, Amy, as well as aunts, uncles, and cousins I'd only seen at our wedding. All eyes shot to me. "Sarah, you're here." "Sit," my father-in-law said. I took a seat at the far end of the table. Kevin tried to sit next to me, but I blocked the chair with my purse. My mother-in-law was there, propped up with pillows. She must have been discharged temporarily for this meeting. She still looked pale. "Now that everyone's here, let's get to the point," my father-in-law began. "As you know, my wife has fractured her femur and needs surgery. The cost is significant. The out-of-pocket alone is $5,000. A murmur went through the room. "5,000? Doesn't she have insurance?" "She does, but her policy doesn't have adequate coverage," Amy chimed in. "Which is why we've asked our sister-in-law Sarah here. She's an insurance agent. She can help us figure this out." Everyone looked at me. "Oh, Sarah works in insurance? Then this should be easy to solve," one uncle said. "It's family. Of course you have to help." I sat quietly, looking at each of their faces. My father-in-law addressed me directly. "Sarah, you need to sort out your mother's surgery bill. You're in the business, you must know a way." "A way?" "Yes. A loan, or whatever it takes. A loan." They wanted me to take out a loan in my name to pay for my mother-in-law's surgery. I slowly nodded. "Before we continue, may I ask a question?" "What is it?" "What is the reason I should be the one to pay for my mother-in-law's surgery?" The room went dead silent. What kind of question is that?" My father-in-law scowled. "It's a daughter-in-law's duty to take care of her husband's mother." "Then what about a daughter-in-law taking care of her own mother's hospital bills?" "What?" 3 weeks ago, my mother had surgery for spinal stenosis. The bill was also $5,000. The relatives started whispering. And do you know what my husband's family said at the time? I took out my phone and placed it on the table. "Would you all like to hear?" I pressed play. Kevin's voice filled the room. "Your mother is not our responsibility. Whether it was your mistake or not, you're not using our money to fix it. That's your family's problem, not this family's problem." The room froze. My father-in-law's face hardened. My mother-in-law bit her lip, her face turning red. That's Kevin tried to stand up. "Sit down," I said calmly. "We're not finished." I played the second file. It was my mother-in-law's voice. "Once you're married, you need to draw a line with your family. Maybe that's why you can't get pregnant." Someone in the room coughed uncomfortably. "There's more," I said, holding up my phone. "My mother's surgery was paid for entirely by my brother. I didn't contribute a single dollar." "What?" Amy exclaimed. "So your brother paid for it?" "Yes. Because my husband's family made it very clear that my mother was not their responsibility. So my family took care of it. Which brings me to my question. Why is my mother my family's responsibility, but my mother-in-law is my responsibility?" No one answered. Shouldn't children be responsible for their own parents? My father-in-law slammed his hand on the table. "Sarah, are you trying to be disrespectful to your elders?" "I'm not being disrespectful. I'm being fair. Is it not strange that my mother doesn't count, but my mother-in-law does?" An aunt interjected. "Sarah, she is still your elder. There are certain duties that come with being a daughter-in-law." "Duties," I scoffed. "Is telling a daughter-in-law to cut ties with her own family part of that duty, or secretly funneling her bonus money to your daughter?" "What? What are you talking about?" I pushed my phone to the center of the table, the screen displaying the bank transfers. The records were clear. $1,800 from my bonus account to Amy's over the last 6 months, without my consent. The room erupted in whispers. "Is that true? He took his wife's money in secret?" Amy shot up from her chair. "Sarah, that was. Kevin was going to pay it back." "Pay it back?" I laughed. "When? How? You haven't paid back a single dime in 6 months. And look at this." I showed them the group chat screenshot. "You posted this in the family chat, claiming I only care about my family. Many of you here even liked it." The faces of the relatives I mentioned turned crimson. "You all tried to paint me as the selfish daughter-in-law who neglects her husband's family, I said, standing up. But what are the facts? The fact is, I haven't spent a single penny on my own family. My brother handled everything. On the other hand, how much have I spent on this family? I ticked them off on my fingers. $3,000 for the 70th birthday party, $2,000 for the 60th, $1,000 for Amy's baby's first birthday, $500 every Christmas and Thanksgiving. And the $1,800 that was secretly funneled to Amy, that's a total of over $9,000. The room was silent. I've spent nearly $10,000 on this family, and not a cent on my own. And yet, you all called me selfish. No one said a word. I picked up my purse. So I'll make it crystal clear. I am not paying for my mother-in-law's surgery. Her son can pay for it, her daughter can pay for it, or they can split it. But I am out. The room exploded. What kind of behavior is this? Have you taught your wife no manners, Kevin? The accusations flew at me, but I didn't flinch. I calmly met their glares. My mother-in-law struggled to sit up, her face a mask of shock and fury. Sarah, her voice trembled. Are you really going to do this? While I'm sick and in pain? My mother was sick and in pain too. She could have been paralyzed. What did you say to me then? She couldn't answer. The situation is different, she finally stammered. How is it different? Both needed a $5,000 surgery, and both were urgent. Shall I tell you the real difference? My mother's insurance policy had a gap because of my mistake. But what about yours? Your husband set up your policy. So why is the coverage inadequate? Is that my responsibility too? My father-in-law's face flushed. Well, the premiums were too expensive. If you didn't want to pay the premiums, then you should take responsibility for the consequences. Why are you trying to push it onto your daughter-in-law? You disrespectful girl, he roared, starting to get up. But his sister, Kevin's aunt, stopped him. John, calm down. Sarah has a point. You set up the policy, so it's your responsibility, not hers. Another relative chimed in. That's right. And if Kevin said his wife's family wasn't his problem, then the same should apply here. It's only fair. The tide in the room was beginning to turn. Amy lunged at me. Sarah, how can you do this? It's our mom. Family? I said, looking at her. Amy, have you ever once treated me like family? Did you feel any remorse while you were secretly spending my money? Did you ever pay back a single dollar you promised to? Was it a family thing to do to badmouth me in a group chat? Amy was speechless, her face pale. I slung my purse over my shoulder and walked to the door. One last time. I'm not paying a cent. The surgery bill is your problem. Sarah! Kevin grabbed my arm. Please, just this once. I was wrong. It was all my fault. I'll spend the rest of my life making it up to you. I shook his hand off. I doubt your rest of your life would last very long. You couldn't even keep a promise for 6 months. Sarah, please, let go of me. I pulled my arm free and opened the door. As I stepped out, I heard my mother-in-law's voice. Sarah, after all this, do you really expect to remain a daughter-in-law in this family? I stopped. Without turning around, I replied, a daughter-in-law? I'm not sure what's so great about that title. It's certainly not one I'm willing to trade my self-respect for. I closed the door behind me. Walking down the hallway, my legs felt weak, but I didn't cry. I couldn't. When I got outside, Michael was waiting for me. Sarah. Michael, you did great. You did absolutely great, he said, pulling me into a hug. Only then did the tears finally come. Michael, did I do the right thing? Yes. You didn't do a single thing wrong. You be proud. Then why does it hurt so much? Because it does. You spent 8 years with them. But Sarah, that pain is the price you pay for your freedom. He was right. I had chosen freedom. I went back to the apartment. Kevin wasn't home yet. I started packing. My clothes, my books, my things. There wasn't much. For 8 years of my life, this was all I had to call my own. Kevin came home around 11 p.m. and saw the suitcase by the door. Sarah? What? What is this? What does it look like? I'm leaving. Where are you going? To my mom's. Sarah, please, don't do this. I was wrong. I'll never do it again. He knelt down, just like he had at the restaurant. I'll figure out the surgery money somehow. I'll break my 401k, take out a loan, whatever. Just please don't go. Why shouldn't I? He was speechless. In all our years together, have you ever respected me, listened to my opinion, cared about my feelings, even once? Sarah. No, you haven't. You did whatever was convenient for you. My money was our money for you to spend, but my family was a line to be drawn. Is that what a marriage is? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Sorry doesn't fix this. I'm tired, Kevin. I wheeled my suitcase to the front door. Sarah, please. He grabbed my arm, but I yanked it away. Let go of me, or I'm calling the police. Sarah, and have your divorce papers ready. My lawyer will be in touch. Divorce? His voice trembled. A divorce? Yes, a divorce. I don't want to be a daughter-in-law in your family anymore. I opened the door and walked out. I could hear him sobbing behind me, but I didn't look back. I got in a taxi and gave the driver my mom's address. It was the first time in a long time I had noticed the stars in the night sky. When I arrived, my mom and Michael were waiting for me. Sarah, my mom, rushed over and hugged me. Mom! The tears I had been holding back finally burst forth. I cried in her arms for a long time. My poor girl. It's over now, you're home. Mom, did I do the right thing? Yes, sweetie. You were so brave. After I calmed down, my mom brought me a bowl of soup. As I ate, I realized it had been years since I'd had her cooking. I had been so busy trying to please my in-laws that I rarely visited my own family. This is delicious, Mom. Eat up, dear. The next day, the calls started. Kevin, my mother-in-law, Amy, my father-in-law, even distant relatives. I didn't answer. A few days later, my mother-in-law called again. This time, I picked up. Sarah, please, let's just meet one time, she said, her voice weak. To talk about what? Sarah, I was wrong. I was too harsh on you. I'm sorry. It was the first apology I had ever heard from her in 8 years. I accept your apology. But that's it. We're done. Sarah, what I want isn't an apology. It's respect. And your family never gave me that. Please, help me with the surgery. Ask Kevin. Ask Amy. I'm not your daughter-in-law anymore. I hung up. A few days later, Amy showed up at my mom's house, ringing the doorbell incessantly. Michael answered. What do you want? Please, let me see Sarah. Please, go home. She doesn't want to see you. Please, my mom can't get her surgery because we don't have the money. That's your family's problem, Michael said coldly. It has nothing to do with Sarah. He closed the door in her face. I listened from my room. It hurt, but I didn't go out. A week later, I got a text from Kevin. Mom had her surgery yesterday. I had to take out a high-interest loan. Are you happy now? Is this how you want to live your life? I replied. Good for you. That was a son's job to begin with. And yes, this is how I want to live. Without you. Then I went to a lawyer's office. The divorce papers were served a week later. Kevin called me, furious and pleading, but my mind was made up. The lawsuit demanded the return of the $1,800 he had sent to Amy and $30,000 in damages for emotional distress. At the mediation, my lawyer played the recordings and presented the evidence. Kevin and his father sat there, defeated. We settled. I agreed to lower the damages to $10,000 on 3 conditions. Amy had to apologize in person and return the full $1,800. They were to have no further contact with my family, and they had to accept the terms immediately. They agreed. A month later, the divorce was finalized. I was Sarah again. Not Kevin's wife. Just Sarah. That night, my mom, Michael, and I went out for a celebratory dinner. To your freedom, Sarah, Michael toasted. And to your courage. Thanks, Michael. Sweetie, my mom said, taking my hand. You don't regret this, do you? I smiled at her. Mom, I'm truly happy now. For the first time, I feel like my life is my own. 6 months have passed. I'm still working as an insurance agent, and I'm better at it than ever. My mom is fully recovered, and we take walks in the park together. Life is quiet, and it's mine. The other day, I was consulting with a new client, a woman in her late 30s. My husband wants to manage all our finances, she said. He wants my paycheck deposited into a joint account he controls. I looked her in the eye. Don't do it. Your money is your money. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Protect yourself, because no one else will do it for you. Is that from experience? She asked. I gave her a small, knowing smile. Yes, it is. Walking through the park with my mom that afternoon, I thought about how my marriage wasn't the end, and my divorce wasn't the end either. My life was just beginning. I would live it as Sarah, confident, free, and happy, surrounded by the people who truly loved and respected me. My in-laws' world may have been shattered, but I had found my freedom, and that was the life I had chosen.